Well, I tend to agree that any elections mixes different areas of political decision making. Also, local elections can be mixed with national elections. I mean, it's very difficult to separate them. But I think that as far as the European elections are concerned, I think two issues are very important. First is to be a bit more innovative in how our citizens participate. And I agree the Spitzenkandidaten process, so the idea that every political family has a candidate to be president of the Commission is important. It would have been very important, in my humble opinion, to have also the European constituency, like to elect members for a whole European constituency. Unfortunately, that was rejected, but I think that would have been an innovative, a step further in the process of creating more links with citizens. But then there's another side of the story, which I think is even more important, which is that we need to politicize the debate, and we need to discuss about issues that are dear to the citizens' daily lives. We cannot have a political debate about European affairs, about institutions, processes, or very general, broad terms. We need to discuss about social Europe, about unemployment, about how, from a European perspective, we can tackle those issues. I think that is the way. When you politicize decision-making process and campaign through things that are affecting the life of our citizens, this is how you engage citizens in politics. And I think this has been probably lacking in the last years. My fear with the debate on migration and refugees always has been that I have the impression that some governments at national level, they give up too much into arguments that come from the far right. I mean, this is really the bad way of handling the debate. I think we need to face reality, and reality is that we have, of course, a very unbalanced distribution of hosting of the refugees and migration, and this needs a European response. This is very clear. But we should not, absolutely not, during the campaign, starting caving in the debate towards extreme arguments that we have too much refugees, that we have too much migrants, that we need to secure further our borders, because this only gives the extreme right more room to grow in the elections if we start using their own arguments. So I think that we need to have a serious debate about that. A serious debate for me is that we have a failing European cooperation model on migration and refugees, and that there are member states that are not assuming their responsibilities. Germany is, but Spain is not. So I think that here is where the debate should lie. Do we have an efficient model to receive refugees, to be in solidarity, to have legal ways of entry? Do we have that or not? But we need to have a serious debate. And when xenophobic and anti-migration arguments come, we need to confront them, but not giving up to those arguments. That is totally a big mistake during an election campaign, because it will feed the extreme right. Well, I think that the best way to confront the rise of anti-European movements is to try to reconnect EU priorities with daily life citizens. I mean, I always ask the question, for a young unemployed in my country, in Spain, which of course is going to be one of the major issues in the campaign, what has the EU done in the last years to solve his personal life, his personal experience? And I think in general, in the last years, people have felt totally abandoned by the European project in the social suffering and the social problems in many member states. And probably this is a very much southern perspective, but this is the case also, I think, in other regions of Europe. And I think we need to reconnect that. How to do that? That's not easy. But I think, for instance, we are now talking about a pillar of a social Europe. So let's make that a priority for the next campaign, and let's all discuss how this social Europe that we all want to bring in again can help these people in their daily lives. And I think it's very important. In some member states, and in the South that is very clear, fighting anti-European movements means reconnecting EU priorities with daily lives of citizens and the social sufferings of the last years. In the last years, the EU has meant the troika, the cuts, austerity, and this is the image that is portrayed in many member states, and we need to reverse that. Well, it's affecting, I think, in a certain way. I have to say that it has reinforced a bit European sentiment. When you see, I think, but that is something happening in many member states. Brexit has helped a bit, finding also thinking that, well, that the project is worth it and that we need to fight for it. That had an effect in Spain. But also there are concrete issues that are being discussed a lot in Spain, particularly the rights of the Spanish workers there, and also the workers and a lot of retired people from Britain that live in Spain, and how this will be solved. This is a hot issue in Spain, as you can imagine. So I think that Spaniards think and hope as well that the divorce should be done, that it should be done in an orderly manner, that nobody would lose its previous rights. I think this is very, very important. So on the issue of rights of workers and of mutual residence here and there, I think this should be a top priority for sure. And this is, I think, what the majority of the Spanish debate is about Brexit at the moment. I think that a single market, participating in a single market, would be a good solution for the UK. But of course, then you have to accept the full freedoms, contributions to the budget, and accept the ruling of the CGUA. And here, of course, many of people who campaign for Brexit, probably they found themselves in a difficult position to explain that probably what they said during their campaign of the referendum was wrong. But I think that at the end of the day, the most easy solution would be to be a member of the single market. But then that has conditions. There's no cherry picking here. That Europe has been very clear on that.